Hey, about 6 weeks ago I put a video on what lens should I buy. Unfortunately, I hadn't had a chance to actually show you what I did buy. I bought this 10mm Rokinon f2.8. So I'm going to be doing a review on this right now. So you go ahead and watch the video. I'll put a link to the description below. I had like a bonus from work, so I had an extra $500 to spend. This didn't cost $500, but I had some extra money, so I narrowed it down from 5 lenses and I got this. I also bought another one because this one was only about $320 on sale on B&H. So I bought it brand new. My cat would quit hitting the tripod. So I also got a 30mm f1.4 Sigma, which I'll be doing a review on soon, and it's the older one. I already got a review on the Art Series one. So anyway, let's talk about this lens, and I'll go over it since I've had this lens for about 6 weeks or so. I've got lots of test shots to show you, and I'll be showing those throughout as we look at the body construction and all the specs on this lens. So let me put it down, we'll take a look at that. Alright, so here it is. Rokinon 10mm f2.8. Alright, so this is very solid construction. If you've ever used the Pentax 14mm f2.8, it's pretty much the same, it's just smaller because this one's optimized for a crop sensor camera. I use it on my Pentax K-70. It's a lot lighter weight than the 14mm f2.8 that Rokinon makes. The build quality is pretty much the same, focus ring and everything. This one has the has a hood filter on here that doesn't come off, and kind of bulbous front here, so you can't attach any filters on here, so that's kind of a downfall of it. But it does have a solid metal back here, and Pentax users, it does have the A, so you can adjust the aperture on your camera when you switch it into that. The nice thing about these, I like these that have an actual aperture ring, so if you're one of those people that has like a Pentax, and then you also have maybe a micro four thirds or a Sony camera or whatever, it's got this adjustable aperture, so you can buy one of those $10 adapters and use it on your other system. So that's a nice thing to have. Let's see here. This is some people ask what's the difference between Rokinon and Samyang. There isn't really. You see that? Well, focus in on that so you can see. It's Samyang. So they just their name different from, I guess, where they, you could Google it, but where they're being sold, they name them different. So you could find them under Rokinon and Samyang, and some of the other lenses. There's even other makers too that it says Brower is just kind of similar, because you'll look at them and the body's exactly the same. So it's the same lens. So whatever's cheapest that you find. So oh, and here's the box. I did buy this out B&H. It was $320. I was wanting to find it used, but I couldn't find it used. I was kind of itching to buy a lens, so I bought this one. So there you go. There's how the optics are laid out, and anything else on here. A little specification here. The closest focusing distance on this bad boy is 0.08 feet. Just to let you know, so that's not from the front of the lens. If you don't know, it's from on your top of your camera. There's a little O with a line through it. That's where your sensor is. That's exactly where your sensor is. So it's from that. So it's almost a foot here. So that would be about right here is where that would start. So the closest focusing distance, if you can see here, is probably about right here. It's not a foot in front of the lens. It's about right here. Let's go through some shots so I could kind of explain that a little bit better. So with this lens, this is ultra wide, and it's been a while since I shot with one, and I always forget just how quickly when you're just stuff disappears in the frame, your subject disappears, just gets super tiny in the frame with these ultra wide lenses. So you always want to put something in the forefront if you're trying to shoot like a landscape with this. If you see this landscape here, you can see there's something kind of missing in it. So here, added a Twinkie to the front of the shot. Kind of see you've got a little bit more depth in there, and kind of want something in the forefront of your lens. So the good thing about this too is that I say things disappear, but you can isolate something really quick. If you're, say, you're at a theme park and trying to, I've used a lens like this before. I'm at Disney World and trying to get a shot of the castle. I'm there during the day, and there's 100,000 people or something in the park. Everybody's down there where the castle is. We're going to have to take this shot with one of your other lenses where everybody's going to be in the frame. Well, you could come right up to the castle and get everybody out of the frame with this, and it will still fill up the whole frame since this is so ultra wide. So that's a benefit of having this type of lens as well. Now, I said that closest focusing distance. Now the throw on these, like any ultra wide, is very small. If you can see that there, that's all it is. It's just like a quarter turn. Now, when you're shooting this is a manual focus lens. All you need to do is basically is put this at, if you just don't really want to adjust focus at all, put an f5.6, f8 somewhere in there, and just focus to infinity. You can walk around shooting all day, and pretty much everything will be in focus unless you have something like super close to the lens. So you could do that and just rock it out. So actually, here's some video. I can show you the ultra wide of me and Cades Cove walking around. Right, a little selfie mode here. I'm walking through Cades Cove in the Great Smoky Mountains. So I thought I'd show you what it looks like. I've got the image stabilization off, so this is kind of what it looks like. 10 millimeters, and whoa, there you go. Okay, now if you hadn't been to Cades Cove before, it's in the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, North Carolina, and there's plenty of wild animals around there. There's a loop there that's 11 miles that you could walk around or drive or ride your bike. It's really nice. I suggest you go check it out. So most of these shots that you're going to see are in the Smoky Mountains. There's a couple other ones that are not. So this, what all is this lens good for? It is good for a ton of stuff. Landscapes, architecture, HDR of like cars and stuff. I think it would be really good for that. Some of those that you see, just anything that you need super wide for. Really good for real estate photography. If you're trying to get a shot of a tiny bathroom in a house so they could put it on the listing, real estate listing, this would be very good for this. So as far as distortion, so everybody asks about these ultra wide. Does it get distorted on the sides? Kind of looks like fisheye. This one has, I watched another video before I bought this about it, and the guy was complaining about it a little bit, but it's actually a little worse than I thought. So here's a shot of just the road here, the gravel road here in Cades Cove. You can see that sign there on the corner. It's just like bent over. It's like it was straight. I swear it was. So you can fix this in Lightroom. So I'll show you right here. I've used the fix in Lightroom. It's just you could Google. Somebody else will show you how to do it, but I won't show you how to do it. But it's very simple. And you can adjust that, but you see how it cuts the top off a little bit because you're adjusting it. So there's the difference there. So also, what other things would people be concerned about it? You got this ultra wide angle lens flare. So there is a little bit of lens flare, not as much as I thought there would be, but it is there. You can see my see the shot. Look there in the corner. That's my hand trying to block out the sun. So you could see the lens flare when you're trying to shoot it. So I was trying to use my my hand to block it out. Usually I was wearing a hat, and I try to block it out with my hat, and that works pretty good. If not, I did a video, but you could get one of those handheld reflectors, and those are really good. You could use those to actually to block out the sun as well. Those are pretty good for that. So it's useful to have one of those in your bag if you don't have one of those. So let me go through a few more shots. Here's a waterfall. This wasn't in the Smoky Mountains. This was in somewhere in East Tennessee, in another state park or something. But you can see here, you can see the lens flare there. So I did a little editing. There was some pretty harsh sun there, so I just did a quick editing job, and this is what it looks like. I just cloned out those little sun marks out of the shot. And here's some more. That Twinkie shot earlier, I didn't mention that. Or not that Twinkie shot. F-22. So here's F-22 shot. That's what I meant to say. This F-22 shot in Cades Cove, you can see here to the starburst. A lot of people like the starburst, so they close down that aperture to get that little star effect out of the sun. So you see that, but when you do that, I'm rarely shooting F-22, but you can see all the it just shows you how dirty your sensor is. Look how dirty that is. All those little specks, that's my sensor, how much dust and dirt is on there. So one of these days I'll do a cleaning video. I hadn't done that, but there's already tons on YouTube, so you can check those out. Maybe I'll do one eventually, but yeah, I need to do that. So if you ever want to see if your sensor is dirty, just put your lens down to F-22 or whatever, stop down to whatever the most closed aperture, and point it at the sky and take a picture. That will tell you how much gunk is on your sensor. So would I recommend this? Yes, I actually really enjoy this lens. I'm liking it a lot. It's one of those things. Nice lens. The thing I like a lot, just because I was remembering the 14mm f2.8 Rokinon. It's just so much lighter because it's optimized for, a crop sensor camera. So it's smaller and more lightweight. It doesn't bother me at all like the 14mm. It had a little bit of weight and it kind of bothered me. It kind of took the camera a little bit off kilt because it was a crop sensor camera, but it was fine on the full frame K1, but just a little bit different on this. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. We'll go ahead and subscribe. I've got a couple other shots here. I can't remember what all it took, but I've had this for a few weeks now, or 6 weeks, I guess. So here's a couple other shots. I'll just kind of flip through them. Most of these are unedited, so here's an HDR shot. I'll throw that in there. Of a cabin. That was kind of cool. Thanks for watching. I will have that Sigma 30mm f1.4 lens review coming up, hopefully sooner than later. So make sure to go ahead and subscribe if you hadn't. And thanks for watching. Thanks for everybody that's supporting me, that's watching most of my videos out here. I really appreciate it. It helps me out. God, I don't know how many videos I've done. Close to 300. I did my taxes, and I actually made $1,600 off Google in 2018. So that money helps me buy lenses to review and stuff. But 300 almost 300 videos. That's a lot of time I've spent on these videos. So anyway, thanks for watching.